Good afternoon. My name is Jim Conlan, and welcome to this episode of our entertainment show. As you know, in part 3 of our entertainment show each week, we premiere a new movie or TV series that is debuting in Ireland and the UK, and especially in Ireland. And up for this discussion this week is a movie that's out here since April the 7th, all across our cinema screens here in Ireland. It deals with a true life, amazingly true life story of a man heroism in terms of landing a plane mid-flight due to an unforeseen tragic disaster where the pilot, dare I say, becomes deceased while piloting the plane. He lands his whole family to safety. It stars Dennis Quaid in the main role as Bob White, and his wife in the movie is led by the one and only Heather Graham, who plays Terry White. Other cast members include Jessi Metcalfe, who plays Carrie Sorensen, Abigail Ryan, who plays Bailey White, Brett Rice, who plays Jeff White, and our special guest this evening that plays one of the White family, one of the daughters of Bob White, the one and only Jessi Case, who plays the role of Maggie White. And Jessi, first of all, a fantastic story to be able to bring to our cinema screens and movie screens in terms of this is a story that really did happen. It did really based on a true life sort of story. And I imagine a very horrific sort of scene for the people involved in that sort of scenario. But I imagine as actors and actresses, a very sort of rewarding story to play because, dare I say, it has a happy ending.
Yes, certainly gratifying, especially, we were shooting on the plane for probably about 4 weeks. The majority of the time was spent there, and it's very intense emotionally. And like you said, just having a happy ending makes it a really well-arching story, and very gratifying as an audience member and as an actor who got to be part of it.
And Jessi, in terms of the scenes, in terms of the shooting sort of scenes, were most of the scenes in terms of, were they all sort of grounded? Did you have any sorts of scenes where you were, dare I say, off the ground, or was it all CG effect? Was it all sort of green screen, a sort of effect, and maybe shots coming out of load to give that sort of real sense of a feeling that you were in, say, an airplane in sort of midair?
It was all on blue screen. We shot it in a studio space in Covington, Georgia, but we did something that really helped, I think, especially our movements with the turbulence on the plane, was that the plane was on airbags. So we actually were feeling the jolting on and off. And I was talking to the other actors, and we all felt like right before we would go to bed at night, it felt like we were falling because we were just so used to this, like just being jolted around all day. But it helped us all synchronize our movements, because I think it would have been really challenging to have to kind of mime the like, okay, we're turning left, and doing that kind of a mime effect for turbulence. So I feel really grateful that we got to use those airbags. Helped it a lot.
And Jessi, tell us about your character, Maggie White, in terms of where does she fit in terms of the White family? Is she a goody two shoes? Is she the daddy's apple of daddy's eye? Is she that sort of rebellious sort of character that's out there, I say, to strike it out on her own? Is she a girl that's sort of finding herself? What's so special about Maggie White, and how does she sort of fit into this sort of story?
Maggie is the eldest daughter of Doug and Terry's, and one of two girls. Certainly not, I don't think, like daddy's little angel or anything like that. Definitely a little, I think the audience would call her angsty. She's 18. I think it's time where you're struggling between still being a child and outgrowing that role in your family and trying to become your own person. And I think that's shown in the film in little ways where she's challenging her family's norms. And Bailey is the younger sister, who is certainly more of I'd say daddy's little angel. And I juxtapose that.
So in terms of this sort of family vacation, dare I say that takes an unforeseen turn for the worst in terms of that. In terms of jumping between those sort of emotions where everything seems sort of rosy to the next minute, as dare I say, the Grim Reaper is hanging over you. What was that sort of switch like to play as a sort of an actress, that 1 minute that you're sort of thinking that, oh, typical family vacation, I don't want to do this sort of thing, you mentioned that sort of teenager, to the next minute you're sort of gripping onto to your own sort of life and blood, really thinking that it'll come the next 5 to 6 hours that you might not see him again ever, or you...
That's always really exciting to play as an actor as well. I think because at the end of the day, as an actor, you playing the role, you know how the story ends. You've read the script, you know what's coming. But it is really exciting to play that shock of, like you said, taking your family, you know, for lack of a better word, taking your family for granted, and then feeling like, oh my gosh, now I'm faced with this insane thing, especially for a character like Maggie, who starts very, like I said, the audience may see her as angsty and just kind of rebellious and doesn't want to do what her family wants her to do. And the next thing you know, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm seeing the value of family now. There's a big shift, I think, for every character in the movie. But I think Terry starts, you know, she's very optimistic. Doug is questioning, you know, his own faith and beliefs. And of course they're challenged again when he's up there and he's like, God, where are you, basically? But yeah, I think we all learn something. And I think that is what is most gratifying to watch as an audience, is to see how a character changes.
And I suppose Jessi, as a sort of young cast members, obviously you would have looked up to the likes of Dennis Quaid and Heather Graham in terms of what they've done throughout their careers. How was gratifying, how was it rewarding to get to work with them, closely and intimately? And as a young actress, did you pick up sort of valuable sort of pointers in terms of working from these sort of two, dare I say, greats of the industry?
Absolutely. You learn something on every set, I would say, but specifically from people who are very seasoned and who have worked a lot. You know, talking to Heather was always very enlightening. She just has so much wisdom she carries with her. And, you know, we would talk about affirmations, how we start our days. And she had so many affirmations she gave me that she was saying she uses. We talked about self-worth, and we talked about family and religious values, and we just learned so much about each other. And Dennis as well, and Abigail Ryan, who plays my sister in the movie, Bailey, she's like my soul sister now. We're just so close. We talk all the time. I really adore everyone, and I learned so much from them. Just from watching, you learn a lot, but of course you learn, like, what does your process look like? And it's not just picking up on things. It's also, like I said, Heather giving affirmations and us talking about how we treat ourselves and how that's so important. And I think because acting specifically is so emotionally vulnerable, especially doing something like this that's very intense, everybody's brought a lot closer, because you feel like, oh my gosh, I've seen this side of you. It feels like you're bearing all, and it just makes it a lot more comfortable and a grounded set.
And Jessi, we might move on now to talk about the premiere of the movie. Was there a sort of a screening for the movie for cast members? And obviously you got to see the shots and locations of the plane, but there's another part of the story in terms of the air traffic controllers that sort of talk you in terms of their story, in terms of Jessi Metcalfe sort of role within the movie. And when you saw the sort of finished project in terms of the two worlds brought together, were you sort of pleasantly sort of surprised?
Yes, you know, I got to see some of the sets while we were filming, because it was kind of on the same soundstage. But I was really surprised with how, you know, obviously in the editing room, so much can change. You can make a completely different movie. Certain things are cut, certain things are added in with ADR or whatever it is. And yeah, I was pleasantly surprised. There were a few moments that shocked me, because maybe it was a rewrite after I left, because we did shoot, you know, our stuff, I think, first, like on the plane. and the barbecue and like the beginning, the family stuff. And then I think after that, they had a few weeks of shooting, Jessi's stuff in the garage, Carrie Sorensen's stuff. So it's always exciting and surprising to see the final product. Even if you are in the editing room, things can change. And it's just like you're an audience member. And because you're just as surprised as everyone else most of the time.
And Jessi, the penultimate sort of question now before we let you go, in terms of casting for this role, in terms of On a Wing and a Prayer, was it a traditional audition process? Did you go in for that character? Did you try out for another character? Was it first round of interviews done in Zoom and in-person sort of interviews? Was it a rigorous sort of process to land the role? Were you recommended for the role, or how did it come about that you got to play the character Maggie White?
Shockingly, it was a very fast process. It was during the pandemic. We also filmed during the pandemic as well. I guess we kind of still are in it, but I did a self-tape at my house. And then I found out like a week later that I was like in the top running, I guess, to get it. They said that they were really interested in me. And then like 2 days later, I heard that I got it. So there was no Zoom. I didn't meet with Sean beforehand. I didn't meet with any of the actors beforehand. Then I was off to Georgia and doing fittings and pre-production. And we rehearsed a lot of the plane stuff as well. And it was in Georgia, which is where I'm from. So it was very special. I got to see my family and all that good stuff.
Okay, and on that note, Jessi Case, for the final 30 seconds, you might enlighten all our audience, all our listeners, if they haven't been to the cinema screens so far since April the 7th, why should they go out there this evening, get into their cars, trains, automobiles, get into that cinema screen, put up their feet up, get their Pepsi, their popcorn, their Maltesers, sit down, watch On a Wing and a Prayer, and what's in store for them?
Going to the movies is such a special experience. I love it personally as well, but it is also streaming on Prime Video. So if you are still a little skeptical about leaving your house, you can just pop up your own popcorn, grab your own soda, and turn it on. You are in store for a lot of intensity, a lot of love, a lot of joy, maybe some tears, lots of laughs. It's an all-around pretty sweet movie. So I hope everybody really likes it.
On that note, Jessi Case, from me, Jim Conlan, to you this evening. No doubt many bright projects in the pipeline for you for the coming year in 2023. We'd be delighted to see you on our TV screens and movie screens in the near future. But for the moment, Jessi Case, all the best with On a Wing and a Prayer. Stay safe, take care, and God bless.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.